one thing teaching affords you is a lot of opportunities for it. I wouldn't say downtime, but you can kind of, I found that I was more down to earth. When I say down to earth, I was home all the time with my kids. Now, of course, they're grown. I'm not in touch like I want to be with them, but it's a blessing because I had the privilege of teaching. Oh, I know. Yes. Oh my gosh.
So then that would be ending at.
So it's a great thing.
So ending at 10:40.
Isn't that amazing? Well, at least you have. Mine are all kind of scattered now.
So we're going to start 5 minutes early. So y'all would end at 10:40.
Oh, good. Okay, we're going to end at 10:40. We'll still have 45 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
Am I connected yet, or you got to turn it on?
I think he has to turn it on.
Okay, so you'll test it. Okay.
We are going to start 5 minutes early. He said nobody's viewing it. He can see that, so live. So just a heads up. So it's about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good height.
So.
Yeah, I think it's good.
One what? Oh, one in the waiting room?
One in the waiting room.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can start.
I know. But we said. Do we need to introduce them or anything? I was going to introduce them and then, okay.
We have bags for everyone, so hopefully you have your grade, and we have a handful of extras if you wanted to take another one back to your colleagues. We have a few kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and fifth grade. So you get to keep your bag.
Thank you.
And your folder.
And your folder.
So Mike, he told you to put this on your lapel if you're going to talk.
You do one turn?
Yeah, I'll put when I'm finished. Yeah, whichever. Yeah. It's Ryan. What can you say? You know.
Okay.
All right, just going to introduce, we have McGraw Hill as our first presenter. So you have your supplies for them. So we are going to let them get started.
Thank you, Tasha.
Excuse me.
All right, I'm Mike Gallagher. As Tasha said, I am the sales rep with McGraw Hill out of Tallahassee, right down the road. I love coming here to Okaloosa. It's great to see some familiar faces as well. I've been doing this about 20 years, about 15 of them with McGraw, and we're really excited to be here. So thank you for coming out. You're going to have a long day. Your head's going to be full, but try to stay with us. Try to stay with us. With me today is Luciano Cossi. He came from Tampa. He's the rep down that way, but we needed with a big group. He was nice enough to be able to come up and help out. Donna Rice, all things wonders. She is our consultant. I'll be doing the bulk of the presentation today. Off the top of my head, I do want to thank Amy and Tasha for bringing this all together. They've had great communication. And it doesn't always go this smoothly, so I really appreciate their efforts to bring us together. 5-year commitment, maybe 4, but at least 4 could be 5-year commitment. Going forward, take good notes. You can ask questions. We're going to go about 35, 40 minutes. Leave some time at the end for questions. And one thing I've always learned about Okaloosa is you're very detailed, and you cross your T's and dot your I's, and especially with standards coverage. So in your folder is a flyer that shows you some of the DOE results that we're very proud of, comparing us to the literacy alignment with our friendly competitors. So have confidence as you're reviewing the materials that your standards will be covered completely. So thank you for again for coming. And at the end, we have questions.
Absolutely.
And Donna, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, Okaloosa County. How are y'all this morning? Happy Friday Eve. So I'm Donna Rice. I'm a curriculum specialist, as Mike mentioned, with McGraw Hill. I taught for 19 beautiful years. Many of those years I taught with Wonders. I also I became a district advisor, and I supported teachers with the implementation of this really robust, wonderful program. I'm very excited to introduce you to McGraw Hill Florida Wonders. Now, we are a comprehensive K-5 ELA program that is, as Mike mentioned, deeply aligned to Florida Best Standards. We're approved by the Department of Education, Florida Department of Education. Again, as Mike mentioned, you guys are an amazing district with great results. Give yourselves kudos for how wonderful you have, supported your students in instruction, achieving high success. We do have the same goal of student success, a shared goal of building strong readers and writers that are confident, critical thinkers. In this comprehensive core Tier 1 ELA solution, you're going to find today that we're going to be focusing on 3 buckets. The foundational skills and wonders that are explicit and systematic. We build knowledge every day in the Wonders program, building knowledge and comprehension through rich, connected text sets. And then we'll look at assessment and analysis and how that is providing you with data-driven supports. As we go along today, I am going to encourage you to write some things down. So every time you see that red banner that says Florida Wonders Exclusive, that is a Wonders difference. That makes us stand out above, or I won't say above, but it's our differences beyond our competitors. Now, one of the things that I want to highlight are the components. These are your print and digital resources. They're high quality instructional research-based materials that will come with the program with purchase. And so your Teacher's Edition is a wraparound Teacher's Edition. Your ELL guide provides that support for our ELL learners. And then the instructional routine handbook that we'll talk about today. The students will receive that beautiful literature anthology that you see there, containing all of the authentic literature big book for our kindergarten and first grade students, and then every student will receive the reading and writing companion, which is consumable. Now, I'm always excited to share the FAST assessment prep. That is going to be, I taught tested grades for many years. I know the importance and the relevance of an assessment program that provides you with that preparation. As we go on today, I do want to talk about your digital experience. These are the components that you're looking for. So as you're checking off your rubric, this is a great opportunity to take a picture. In the digital experience, you're going to find ready-made plans and presentations that are customizable, the ability to assign games and practice opportunities, assessments through our online data center, and differentiated assignments, all in a very robust program. Now, if you take a look, we do integrate with Google Classroom, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm just going to take a few moments to hop over to digital and highlight some teacher favorites and also just some things just to show you the ease of use with the Wonders digital platform. This is the teacher's landing page, your teacher dashboard. Now, as a teacher, I know the first thing that comes to mind for me are lesson plans. What do they look like? Where are they? So if we come here to our navigation tools, you'll see plan, and we're going to go to weekly planner. Here's where you'll find your instructional pathway with day-by-day instructions, day-by-day lesson plans. Starting here, you have blue, that's going to be your whole group. That matches the same color coding system in your Teacher's Edition. Differentiated instruction for on-level, approaching, beyond, and ELL. And then there's the writing. So as we go here, just as I mentioned before, these lesson plans are flexible. I can reorder them by dragging them. And as elementary teachers, oftentimes we can't get to everything in a week. Abbreviated week and things like that happen. We can even move lessons to a new week. So we have the customization there and flexibility. What I want to do is I'm just going to click on one of the lessons. It's going to take me back to the dashboard. So when you're reviewing, you'll know how to kind of navigate. This icon will also bring you back to the dashboard. But note here, when I clicked on that lesson, now I see the instruction for that lesson right here. Teacher guidance is here. But whenever I click on any of my lessons, I have my Florida Best Standards right here at point of use with access points for students with cognitive disabilities. As you'll notice here, your games. Now, Wonders uses gamification so that our students can reinforce those activities in a fun and engaging way. Many of these games actually collect data. But one thing I want to show you is that right here with this cogwheel, you see that we integrate with Google Classroom. So any of those assignments that you're pushing out to your students can be easily just assigned right there with a click of that particular option. Now I'm going to come here and show you our very, very robust resource library. That's containing all of the resources that you see in print, in digital, and also additional opportunities. So here you'll see the resource library. One of the things that I like to call out are the tier 2 intervention resources. So I've already kind of opened up that PDF for you. Notice right here that PDF is going to give you producible or printable pages for intervention for all of the components that you see right here. Let's go into the tier 2 intervention, and you'll see that we have comprehension, fluency, all of those targeted resources to support students where they are. You also have tier 3 intervention supports. The last thing I want to highlight today within this, there's lots more, but let's take a look at your built-in teacher presentation. I'm going to open that up to launch it. This does contain all of your resources in alignment to that week's instruction. So that means we start every week off with building knowledge, that building knowledge video, allowing us to introduce our essential question that all of the text sets are connected to.
How do people respond to natural disasters? A natural disaster can strike at any time. Being prepared and knowing how to respond can help keep communities safe.
So as you see, we're going to introduce that essential question through that video. You have vocabulary supports living in your teacher presentation, those visual vocabulary cards allowing to really bring that academic vocabulary to life. So as students are learning, they watch that video, they're going to learn new words as they watch, and then we're bringing that vocabulary to life through our visual vocabulary cards.
Severe. Something severe is very
Now that
harsh
does
or
have
serious.
built-in language support as well for our English language learners. As you continue to see, there are all of your literature for that week are contained or housed in that built-in presentation. So as you see here, this is our literature anthology. We're reading about earthquakes. There is built-in audio support, as well as additional supports for our English language learners for each and every one of your reads. So as you see, we have provided you with a very comprehensive digital experience that will allow for our students and teachers to have ease of use. Now there is also a student dashboard, and if we can look at that at the very end if we'd like to. What about our students that don't have internet access? We know that that may happen, and we want to give reading homework, right? We do provide you with offline access to all of the content, all of the reads that students will be exposed to in our McGraw-Hill K-12 portal app. No internet connection needed, so our students can grab mom's phone and read their text as we go on. As we continue, I want to talk about our unmatched authorship team. This team is comprised of those literacy gurus that we all know and love. Dr. Douglas Fisher brings his research around the close reading routine that we're grounded in for complex text. Dr. Jan Hasbrock, she's bringing her years of research into foundational skills into wonders. And Dr. Timothy Shanahan, he's all about that science of reading. They have partnered with us to ensure that Florida Wonders is grounded in the science of reading and customized to your Florida standards. With that said, again, I've already mentioned, yes, we are grounded in that body of research that shows how students learn to read best. There are proof points up there. But with this body of research, we want to ensure that we go into application, right, in an explicit and systematic way that the science of reading requires. So if you take a look at those instructional routines, this is the handbook that is going to give you the how behind instruction. The way that we teach, the way we deliver instruction matters. And this is going to ensure that as we're delivering instruction, students are not going to have to think about how they're going to learn, but each time they engage in new learning, their cognitive energy is freed up. You'll have more than 50 research-based routines, and I'll highlight those as we go along the way. Let's talk about standards coverage. Now, Mike already mentioned this document, but I do want to put a pin here. This is a Florida Wonders difference. Our commitment to really delivering the most comprehensive standards-aligned curriculum ensures that students are set up for success, not just for our tested grades, but across their entire academic journey. And I want you to take a look at what that looks like. McGraw-Hill, again, is leading in standards coverage above our competitors. That is over a 13.5% average for our standards, right? So as you see, we are aligned to Florida Best Standards with 98% average alignment. You can check that information out on the Florida DOE, percentage of subject-specific content. But where do those standards live in your teacher's edition? They're right there embedded in a key, we call this an embedded key skills trace. Now, for each unit, you're going to see how each standard is introduced, reviewed, and reinforced, as well as assessed. And studies tell us that when students have multiple touch points with a standard, that's going to equal long-term retention, right? As we continue with standards coverage, for each text set, you have standards and skills called out in your teacher's edition. And when time is short, you have that red check to let you know, hey, these are the important skills that are going to be tested in Wonders. But let's talk about how we approach instruction with our standards. Standards in Wonders are stacked. Now, some of our competitors, they teach standards in an isolated manner. But when we stack standards, now you're going to see this at every single lesson. You're going to see that leading spotlight benchmark standard. You're going to see the supporting standards living there woven in, because this will ensure that as students are learning and reading, that they're going into application. It also reinforces and deepens their understanding. Cohesive, not segmented instruction. Now, we're going to transfer that knowledge through our literature library. This is one of the ways. There are going to be many ways here. But I want to talk about the Florida Best Literature Library. These titles come from your Appendix B of Florida's recommended list. You would receive 6 copies of each title, many of these award-winning titles. Kinder, you'll have 10 titles and 12 titles for all my other grades. But if you take a look, here's where we really shine. Not only do you have those, if you want to take a picture, I'll go back. You look like you were trying to take a picture. Go ahead. I want to make sure I give you guys the opportunity. All right. Where we really shine is here's where we're providing for those titles in the literature library differentiated support. Doug Fisher tells us that volume matters. When our students are engaging with text talks and book studies, you have more than enough differentiated lesson plans aligned to Florida Best Standards with culminating pages and embedded ELL supports. Now, we're going to go ahead and start talking about foundational skills. One of the things we know is that you utilize UFly, right? And UFly does provide a very strong foundation for foundational skills instruction. But I want to talk to you briefly about how Wonders can reinforce and support the skills there. We've got you covered every step of the way. We're providing you with crosswalks or alignment to, we have a very strong alignment to UFly, as well as additional practice opportunities embedded in the program, and resources, an abundance of resources that are going to ensure that those foundational skills are reinforced. So as I go along, I'm going to briefly highlight our foundational skills block, word work, and you'll see the UFly alignment in the top with that icon. We begin instruction with phonemic awareness. That's going to be an alignment to step 1, where we're providing for substitution, segmentation, deletion, categorization. And here's where you're going to see those embedded routines, a routine for every single one of the foundational skills lessons, grounded in that gradual release of responsibility. Then we're going to move into our spiral review, which allows for quick bursts of practice for those previously taught sound spellings, right? This is in alignment with steps 2 and 3. As we move through that instructional skills block, step 3 provides you, alignment to that provides you with those digital gamification pieces, in addition to our digital practice. Now, the practice book is a teacher favorite. It provides opportunities for students to dig in and have those pages that you can print out quickly online or from your book. Now, in our blending here, this is where we're going to provide our students with alignment to steps 4 and 5 to UFly. And we're going to provide word attack strategies as students are blending. You see those blending lines, your teacher explicit instruction, but you also have those word building cards available. These do come with the program. You're going to notice a plethora of multi-sensory, multimodal supports. As we continue to go on through the articulation support, this is where we're providing you with lenticular cards to support students with the positioning of their tongue to their actual sound that they're making, their mouth position. Having students really practice connecting the letter E sound, which they're learning about this week, to the sound that they are writing, to the word that they are writing. So we're going from phonemes to graphemes here. Additional practice for step 5 for handwriting. That's going to be our handwriting videos. They provide you with not only those video supports, but you have handwriting worksheets so that students can go into practice and application there. Let's move on to step 6, additional digital practice when it comes to encoding or spelling, right?
His leg when he fell.
So those games are going to allow our students to practice in an engaging way, and then you have those digital supports that open the door for more reinforcement and practice. What about our high-frequency words? We know the high-frequency words are the words that appear the most in the English text, right? We're providing you with a research-based strategy. This has been updated in the Wonders program. It's called the Read, Spell, Write routine. High-frequency word cards are available for you, and we're providing, again, all of those multimodal supports. Now, when we go into application with our shared read, I'll talk to you a little more about this, but we're looking at the first grade shared read. That's located in the Reading and Writing Companion. Here's where our students will use a decodable read to go into application. They're going to be underlining the high-frequency words that they've learned, as well as circling the sound spellings that they've learned that week. As we continue to go throughout, it's important that we provide additional practice for decodables as students go into application. K2 teachers, where are you? Will you raise your hand for me? You're going to have 6 to 8 decodables to support each sound spelling each week. So you have more than enough to support that. So I always think about exhausting passages. You really won't do that. Plus you have additional decodable passages, not just in primary, but for every grade. We're going to close that homeschool gap with take-home stories, and we're providing you with progress monitoring for decodable reads. Now, as we continue to think about how we provide targeted instruction for every single learner, even for our decodable reads, this is a Wonders exclusive that I'm going to ask you to write down. We're providing you with differentiated instruction. So you're going to have that for approaching, on, beyond, and ELL supports as we develop proficient readers. Now, as we continue to hone our 3-5 students' foundational skills, we have a focus on morphology. And this is where we're going to ground them in Greek and Latin prefixes, Latin roots, in a multimodal, multisensory approach. But that multimodal approach lives throughout the program. So for primary grades and all grades, but especially let's talk about our foundational skills. You're going to have those videos and get our students up and moving with a plethora of additional multimodal supports, the lenticular cards, the vocabulary cards, your letter cards, your high-frequency word cards, all providing an opportunity, whether you're using this independently or a small group, you'll have more than enough in your teacher and student toolbox. So, how do we go into measuring our students' automaticity and fluency, which is what we've been developing along the way? We've got you covered. This is going to be that oral reading fluency app. You're going to just click on the word if students have errors, right? This is located on your teacher's dashboard. And what this program is going to do is track their words per minute and accuracy rate, and then it's going to give you an actionable report so that you can track students' fluency. It's based on national fluency norms, but again, you're not going to have to copy all those copies and take out the highlighter and all of that, which you would have to do on your lunch break, of course, to make those copies. So as we continue, we know that once we've measured outcomes for students, now it's time to go into supports and remediation. Here's where Wonders Adaptive Learning comes into play. This is an individualized pathway for students around these 3 areas: phonemic awareness, phonics, and structural analysis. This is going to provide explicit instruction. It's taking the lift off of you. Students take a diagnostic assessment. They're going to be placed in their zone of proximal development, and they'll have practice around those 3 areas. And targeted instruction, again, with remediation. But as a teacher, we're provided with those actionable reports. It gives you a lot of information to inform instruction. What students are proficient? What students are proficient with additional tries, right? It's also going to lock students out and prompt you to intervene when necessary. So Now that we've built a firm foundation with our students, let's talk about how do we build knowledge in the Wonders curriculum. Well, Wonders builds knowledge through connected text sets. And I want to show you what they look like. What makes up a knowledge building text set? So first grade, we're going to look at your example first. You have a wealth of complex texts with authentic literature, interactive read alouds, the literature big book, the shared read, the authentic anchor text, paired selection, and decodable readers all around the same essential question every week, every text set. Know that you'll have around the same foundational skill, comprehension skill and strategy, and even the alignment to science or social studies. The connected text equals deeper understanding. Let's take a look at the fourth grade example. Our fourth graders are learning around the essential question, what helps an animal survive? And so notice the addition. You still have all of those resources, but additionally, you'll have differentiated genre passages and differentiated readers with paired selections. So let's take a look at what that journey looks like. Now, in the reading and writing companion, your students will have integration. So notice for K1, they have a 1-week text set. But if you're looking at that table of contents, everything's going to happen there. They're going to have their reading opportunities, their writing, analytical writing, and extended writing, and opportunities to connect and reflect. For grades 2-5, 2-week text sets, same opportunities. That extended writing is built in there. I'm going to give y'all a chance to take pictures. All right. So as we continue, I want to just go through the instructional week of knowledge building. We begin that week with that video that I showed you in our teacher presentation, our first graders. What do you do at your school? They'll watch that essential question video. They'll go ahead and capture the words that they've learned. They're going to have some conversations and put that in their reading and writing companion. That primes us for our listening comprehension. Now, as we introduce listening comprehension in grades K2, you have those interactive read aloud cards, beautifully illustrated, giving you teacher support on the back for retelling and all of those great opportunities. And for our 3-5 students, you have listening comprehension built into your teacher's edition. This is going to not only provide a way to introduce vocabulary and introduce the themes, but it's also going to provide you with opportunities for students to make thinking visible. You'll have your think alouds, and then you have student think alongs to support with discourse. That's priming our students for the complex reading and the complex text that they're about to be exposed to. So as you see here, we are grounded. We develop comprehension through the tried and true close reading routine. In your teacher's edition, in the student edition, you'll see color-coded prompts taking students on an analysis of the text. Starting with DOK level 1, what did the author say? Then we move to that author's craft questions. How did the author say it? And then they'll apply knowledge. This is the way that we engage students in critically thinking about the text. Now, I'm going to show you, just go on an example. We'll use 4th grade. We kind of looked at the shared read for 1st grade. But just think about your shared read as the vehicle for teaching and modeling. So as we go throughout, here is another way that I really kind of want to highlight that Wonder stands out. Take a look at the margins. Now, our margins are purposely used, right? This ensures that students are not passively reading, but they are truly engaged in deep analysis of the text, grounded in text evidence. That text evidence is, again, going to be around the skill and strategy that they're learning about as we move from those DOK level 1 to DOK to the author's crafts, 3 and 4. Again, this is a Wonders exclusive. Those margins are going to provide our students with an opportunity to read with a pencil. I'm going to continue to take you on that journey of building knowledge. And now you're provided with mini lessons. These mini lessons are in the reading and writing companion. You're going to model that comprehension skill and strategy. You're going to also engage your students with a we do, where you support them with finding textual evidence. And then finally, in the you do, our students will do the same and capture their notes in the provided graphic organizer. You take your picture. No, it's okay. And as we continue to, I want you to know that those notes are useful. Those notes are purposeful. So as students have been reading about natural disasters, they've captured notes about volcanoes and landslides, and those notes are going to be used purposefully for analytical writing. Now, the analytical writing in Wonders happens in this way. Whenever students read about it, they're going to write about it. This is true synthesis of learning. They're going to talk about it. They're going to write about it. And we've also provided you with sentence starters that will allow students to be grounded in the proper way to start their conversations and to write. We continue that journey with vocabulary. We want our students to use sophisticated vocabulary in their writings. And so with that said, we're going to have that explicit and systematic vocabulary built into that reading and writing companion. Here's where you'll see mini lessons. Every week you will have a mini lesson, every text set that you're focusing on a specific vocabulary strategy. Here's multi-meaning words. But if you want to take a picture of this, this is another great one. Explicit vocabulary is taught through oral vocabulary, high-frequency words, academic vocabulary built in, the define, example, ask routine, and visual vocabulary cards. But we take it a step further. Students will practice their vocabulary through games. They're going to practice through visuals. I'll go back. You need to get that again. I think I went way back. I think I went up. Oh, well. Okay. Did you get that? Is this the slide you wanted? With these? Okay. So as we go, again, games with built-in digital supports, as well as ways to truly bring that academic vocabulary to life. And I showed you a quick image of our visual vocabulary. Now, we continue to move through that week. We've taught and modeled. That instructional pathway now leads us to have students go into application through their anthology. And the anthology is going to contain more rigorous on-grade level text for students to go into application. That anchor text, I want to talk to you quickly about that. In the McGraw-Hill program, you have authentic literature in your anchor text. These are texts that you see, these titles. These are texts that our students can go into Barnes & Noble and pick up. These are not contrived. They're not commissioned. Real authors wrote them. And here's where our students are engaged in vocabulary, rich vocabulary, engagement, as well as real-life reading. But notice how you have all of these books, all of these titles, but we've compiled them into one anthology, right? So students have access to this on-grade level text. Now, how do we support our students with on-grade level text? In your teacher's edition, you have your DOK level questions right there at point of views with sample answers built into your teacher's editions, as well as integrated ELL supports and accessing text complexity. Okay, so as we continue, know that we are, as students are reading that anthology, they're reading the authentic literature. As they look at here, they're still reading about earthquakes, right, and natural disasters. They're going to read those pages. Remember, they're practicing independently now, but they're going to capture their evidence using the reading and writing companion. So that reading and writing companion is going to ensure that, again, students have at their seat at all times opportunities to cite evidence and dig deeper. At the end of the text set, students are going to culminate. They're going to integrate. You'll see thoughtful research, inquiry-based projects. Here, students are creating a public service announcement. And embedded rubrics are provided so that students can, again, go into application and kind of develop some agency. So everything that students have learned in the Wonders program is connected to the writing. Again, the connectedness lives throughout. How is extended writing addressed in Wonders? Grade Kinder, you have one extended writing opportunity per even unit. Grade 1, you have one per unit. And in grades 2-5, you have 2 opportunities per unit. All around, across genres, right? Narrative, expository, opinion, and argumentative. And this is going to provide support for the best writing assessment. Now, We know, I know in my district sometimes they'll tell us, hey, the writing's going to be assessed online this year. Students can practice to write their entire extended essay online in the writer's notebook. As we continue on, I just want to quickly take you through the extended writing that's located in the Reading and Writing Companion. We begin by analyzing the prompt as students look at the characteristics of the genre, but pay attention to the margins. This is prompting students to analyze the writing. Then students are going to analyze the student model. They have anchor papers that show them what strong writing looks like in action, with opportunities for students to analyze why that student earned a 4 on their essay. As we move into analyzing the prompt or unpacking the prompts, students are going to be looking for understanding the purpose, audience, and task. Then, of course, we're providing them with those opportunities to pull evidence from multiple sources, which we know will happen on the FAST assessment. They'll gather their evidence into the provided graphic organizer, and they're ready to draft. Now, what happens, I remember having peer writing conferences with my students for those that needed additional supports. We're providing you with a flexible bank of mini lessons. So for your writing conferences that you have mini lessons around all of those specific needs of students. Some students may need support with citing evidence or transition words and so on. Writing, of course, we know is grounded in grammar. The grammar in Wonders is explicit and systematic. For K-5, you're going to find mini lessons, games. You have graded online. When I say graded, if you assign an online grammar practice opportunity, we will grade that for you. So you can print those off. She's like, yes, you can print those off, or you can, again, have those opportunities be done online. As students go into independent skills practice, you're provided with a Black Line Master practice book. This is around all of those components that you see. So I remember using these for homework a lot. I remember using these when I was with my small group, and I needed my students to be engaged in practice that they targeted practice. But these as well can be graded online if you choose to do them online during a station. We're getting ready to land our plane to talk about assessments. How are assessments in the Wonders program done? You have a very, very comprehensive suite of assessments to prepare our students for FAST and BEST, for best standards alignment. First of all of our assessment items are aligned to a BEST standard. They're tagged, and they're also tagged to a DOK level. For K-5, you're going to have universal screeners and diagnostic assessments, and then we also have code reads, unit and benchmark assessments around all of those needs and all of those standards that students have been learning with clear FAST alignments. The FAST preparation and practice is embedded in the program, so you're going to receive this book. This allows our students to, again, they're based on state testing blueprints, but the benchmark assessments provide you with 3 tests, right, of equivalent difficulty, and this is going to allow students to practice, and you can actually gauge where students are to inform your instruction. I want to take a look at what that looks like. Again, all of your assessments are aligned to FAST specifications. You'll see the opportunity for students to answer questions to multiple sources, as well as Part A and Part B opportunities. But I do want to highlight some of those question items. Now, on the left side, you're looking at Wonders FAST Test Prep, and on the right is actually Florida FAST Samples. So here, notice that our students are answering a question. They're completing the table to show whether each sentence describes passage 1, 2, or 3. And then in the actual Florida FAST sample, same exact format. They're completing the table found in those additional passages. Our students have those Part A, Part B questions, and that looks for each side. I'm going to make that a little larger for you. Part A, Part B items, which mimics what they will be doing, how they will be responding on that assessment. So as we're thinking about preparing our students for writing, you're looking at one of our benchmarks, right? These are going to help prepare students for their new best writing assessment with additional sources. And then, again, remember you have many lessons to support students in all of these endeavors. Now, anytime you assign anything in the online platform in Wonders, we are going to allow you customization opportunities. All of our questions, you have tech-enhanced questions to provide students with a variety of ways to engage with those items. Text-to-speech, accessibility settings like line readers, and again, they're all auto-graded. But here's where it really comes to life. Your data dashboard, this is a Wonders exclusive. Not only are you provided with auto-graded opportunities, but this comes with 5 actionable reports. The first one is the recommendations report. This is the teacher favorite. You have the best standards report as well. But that recommendations report is going to allow you to assign. It's going to show you what to assign. You're going to assign it out to your students based on their individual needs. So after you have assigned an assignment to students, the platform is going to group those students for you and then provide you with assignable resources based on their areas of need. So whether it's built-in Tier 2 intervention, which you need, or built-in enrichment, you have just what you need. So with our differentiated instruction, do we agree that all students deserve high-quality instruction at their levels? You do have differentiated mini lessons for each grade level, right? Each level, not grade level, each level, ability level, approaching on beyond targeted mini lessons that are aligned to standards. But what about our students that aren't at the table with us? I was always looking for something purposeful for them to do. We're providing you with the center activity cards. These cards are purposefully used. Notice that you have them for reading, vocabulary or phonics or foundational skills, and writing. These cards are going to allow our students to authentically transfer the learning and transfer knowledge. And on the front, you have that beautiful anchor chart to remind students of the learning that has taken place. So these are a teacher favorite. All of your ELL learners have very targeted supports. And these supports, again, are for push-in or pull-out, our ELL small group guide, aligned to WIDA. But I do want to call out here that these provide multiple languages, as well as text summaries, letters home. You have scaffolded supports for each of the key reads. We also have newcomer supports, by the way. So as we continue to think about, there's been a lot introduced to you in a very short amount of time, and you're probably wondering, if we went with Wonders, how are we going to learn all of this? Well, we do provide you with customized professional development. Not only in the platform do you have an opportunity to go in and see classroom videos, to see these lessons in action, you also have suggested lesson plans, but we will provide you with customized professional development from curriculum specialists like myself, virtually or in person. As we think about today, we know that data is important, and I do want to share some Miami-Dade data. They just recently readopted us, and just to know the efficacy of Wonders, from 2024 to 2025, the percentage of students in every grade in Miami-Dade increased by nearly 7%, and that's just in one school year. And so what matters here isn't just the increase, but what matters is that that happened consistently from grade level to grade level, so we saw that growth across the board. And in the Wonders program across Florida, we have many, many students and schools using and really believing in the impact of Wonders. Over 1,600 Florida schools, 42,000 Florida teachers teaching, and over 881,000 Florida students learning and believing in the impact of Wonders. So I want to leave you with the top reasons to choose McGraw-Hill Florida Wonders. The red that you see, that's going to be our differentiators. That fast prep and practice, your authentic literature and your connected text sets, and that data dashboard with assignable resources. You also have your credentials in the folders that Mike have provided, but they're listed here on the left too. I'm going to open up the floor for questions. I thank you so much for your time. We would be honored if you partner with McGraw-Hill. We ask that you vote yes for McGraw-Hill, and we have some time for questions.
Very quickly, something I usually covered in the beginning. Everything you saw today, plus anything that you find in the folders, the component list, all comes with the basic package. So there won't be any additional charge. The adaptive learning program, there's information in here about that as well. It's all included within the standard package for Wonders. Any questions? Anything you didn't see that's a must-have? Because we only had so much time to build out the presentation. So if there's something important to you that maybe you didn't see,
Yes.
let us know.
On the assessments,
Okay.
can you move those questions around
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to open up the online assessment center.
and eliminate them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to show you quickly. If I go here to the online assessment center, there's this tab. And it is loading. But all assessments are available online and in print. And when that loads, I'm just going to hop into any assessment. I'm going to go into a unit assessment. And notice that there's an action icon that allows me to edit. I can open up that icon, and I do want to call out that you'll see the standards alignment to each item. You also see the DOK level, but see how you can edit here? You can edit, you can remove. I think you saw that it said remove. And then you can also, one of the things that teachers love and that I love was that I can add questions. I can go in and pull in some fast prep questions by going to existing. I'll go to, say, assessments. And then this allows me to pull from a bank. Notice that grade 4 fast prep and practice is here. So I can then come here and choose, do I want to pull something from benchmark 1, test 2, or 3? And then I'll just go in and check what I would have. So very customizable. Thank you.
And move the order around.
Move the order around. So there was a thing that said, I won't say, there was a tab that said move, and that will allow you to move it right here. Absolutely. So you can make it your own.
And there is digital access within this folder. You can go in there and play around. You're not going to break anything. You can use it in your classroom now if you like. So feel free to compare with our friendly competitors. You know, we're very proud of that platform.
You referred several times to the instructional routines handbook. Should that have been included in our bags? Because like she had it, but second, both of us were second grade and did not.
Did you have it in every, what did you mean to have it in every bag?
Yeah,
it should have
instructional
been.
routines handbook should
Oh,
be
let
in
me
every
show
bag.
you as well. If you want to see it online
And it's
too.
also available digitally. And that is a great piece, so I'm glad you asked.
It
Thank you.
is. Right here, if you go to resources, professional development, and then if you come over here to the left side, you'll see a tool bar. I like to have this on my desktop. I go to instructional routines, and there's that instructional routines handbook. It's a full PDF of it, and I like to look at it online because it, allows me to have that access.
And I can send that to you as well if Tasha, if you work through Tasha or Amy, and they can email me and request some additional instructional materials handbooks. And we're running out of time. I think that music might have been about it.
Oh, was that the music for us? Oh, okay.
So we got 1 minute.
Right on time.
We got 1 minute.
Well, novels for fifth grade, is there a list of?
There's a list in your
Is there any
folder as well.
online novels? Are there any online novels?
So what you have in the resource library, you do have, of course, the App B, right, that I showed you for the best literature library, but you have a plethora of additional reads here. So if you go here to additional student reads, you have all of these additional types of reads for students. If you come in, genre passages, beyond what's in the actual core
Is
text.
there a whole novel at all?
Not in its, yeah, just the 6 sets of your App B, right.
You talked about the adaptive individual program.
Yes.
Is that functioning similar in principle to iReady, or is that?
So it does have some of the same types of remediation supports, right? But yeah, it's a little different from iReady, but it is a remediation tool, right? And it's going to do probably a little more because it's going to lock students out. Don't remember how iReady did because I've used it before too. Okay, yeah, but you do have that. There is a nice guide on the dashboard to give you a little more insight into how that works. But yes.
Is it remediation only, or does it also enrich?
It's remediation only. What you're going to use for, there are lots of enrichment programs or resources in the program. When you have that data dashboard, if you have a student that's in that level, it's going to give you enrichment resources to assign to that student based on their needs. You also have Sync Blast, lots of additional pieces that can help our gifted students in enrichment. You're welcome. You're
All right,
welcome.
thank you, Tasha. Last
Did you wanna
thing, we appreciate your time following your
Thank you
careful
guys so
examination
much.
of the materials. We ask that you vote for McGraw Hill, Florida Wonders for your choice for our students and teachers. Thank you all. Have a great day. Thanks,
Thank you
Tasha.
all.